I had recently rewatched Inception with my wife, and I was pleasantly surprised to see a much larger and deeper theme running through the movie that I had essentially missed the first few times I had watched it. It's easy to watch the movie and be blown away by the breathtaking visuals or sit back in awe of the Nolan-esque highbrow concepts of dream worlds and dreams within dreams. Or even think that the movie's central theme is the concept that you can plant an idea in someone else's mind. Which is interesting in and of itself, but I actually think that there is something else that Nolan is trying to say. If you boil Inception down to its core, I don't believe that the movie's about how you can plant an idea in someone else's mind, but rather that ideas can actually take a hold of you. And some ideas can take a hold of you so deeply that you actually lose your grasp on reality. To crudely summarize the movie's main plot, a group of what could be called dream thieves attempts to go into a target's mind and then plant an idea so deeply that the target thinks that the idea was theirs all along. This idea planting is where the movie gets its name Inception from, as in the inception of a particular idea. Now, it's easy to think that the movie's main focus, of course, would be on the theme that you can plant an idea in someone's mind, but I think it's actually slightly deeper than that. To me, the movie isn't about where you get the ideas from. The movie is about how ideas take over your mind. I think this idea can be found most clearly between the characters Cobb and Mal. Cobb is introduced as the protagonist, and his arc is that he has to let go of the memories of his wife Mal. She keeps showing up in dreams and torturing him, and it's not just his memory of her that is torturing him, he blames himself for her death. The movie explains to us that he and his wife were essentially trapped living deep in their own minds in a dream state for something like 50 years. And in doing so, they had lost their grasp on reality, and the only way that Cobb could convince his wife Mal to leave that world and to come back to reality was to convince her that she was dreaming. He does this by planting an idea in her subconscious. The idea was that she was dreaming and not awake. The problem is that the idea is planted so deeply that even when she wakes up, she is convinced she is still dreaming. So the idea worked to get her out of her dream state, but it worked too well, because she's in reality but still isn't sure what reality is. After Mal wakes up from her dream, she's still tormented by the idea that she's still dreaming. The idea that was planted in her head takes a hold of her, and she loses her grasp on reality. It seems that lies will work in the short term, but in the long term, they can destroy you. In the movie, she ends up killing herself, thinking that she'll be able to escape this dream world she's convinced she's in, but really she kills herself in real life. This leaves Cobb forever tormented by the decision he made to plant that idea in her head. Nothing could shake her from what she was convinced was true, and what she was convinced was reality. For this video, I really want to focus on Mal's unfortunate storyline, the one where an idea takes such deep control of her mind that it ends up being her undoing. This control of her mind is made most salient to me in a flashback scene, where Cobb is trying to argue with Mal that they are truly in the real world and they're not dreaming anymore. He begs and pleads and tries to reason with her, and her response is one that we all may have experienced if you've ever tried to reason with somebody who's possessed by an idea. She lashes out at him like he is the crazy one. She insists that that is what he would say because he doesn't know the truth, or he doesn't know what reality is. She can't bear to have her idea challenged because she's so deeply convinced of what reality is. How many times have you tried to argue with somebody using logic and had them just lash out at you or abandon the logic altogether so as to escape having their world collapse? Expressing that if you only knew what they knew, you'd know you were wrong. You'd know what reality really was. To paraphrase Carl Jung, people don't have ideas. Ideas have people. Ideas can become a mind virus. Inception demonstrates this masterfully through Mal's character. The idea is planted in her mind and she can't be shaken of it. The idea actually has her. At the time of recording this video, when I look out in the world, politically or culturally, it seems like there are just two different realities playing out. It seems like you could pretty much just ask yourself, well, does this fit into my idea that I hold really deeply? And if it does, then you accept it. And if you say, does this conflict with what I believe? Well, whether it's true or not, you can just ignore it because you know what's true. People are possessed by sets of ideas. And the ideas are planted so deeply at this point that to admit they are wrong is to shatter their entire reality. One thing that the movie doesn't explicitly address is whether or not you can come to terms with the fact that what you believe to be real is actually not. That you can realize what you believed is wrong and then save yourself from limbo. What the movie does give us, however, is the idea of a totem, something that you carry with you, which allows you to differentiate from fact and fiction. The totem is the representation of the truth. When you have the truth, you know the difference between reality and fiction, real life and a dream world. Mal's totem, or her representation of the truth, was a spinning top. In Mal's case, she abandons the truth. She locks it away in her distant memory, and because of that, she loses her grasp on reality. Perhaps it's the case that if Mal had searched her own mind and found the truth that she had buried away, she may have been able to escape limbo on her own. Perhaps the only way out of a fake reality is for you to search your own mind, look deeply for some inconvenient truths you may have buried away years ago. The movie doesn't explicitly tell us that you can find your own way out of limbo. But if we look at Cobb's character, once he confronts Mal in his own mind, and he comes to terms with the fact that she's gone, he addresses his fiction, and he creates the true reality. Mal is gone. In the real world, she's not there, and she never will be. This is the protagonist's arc. He addresses a lie, and in doing so, embraces the real world. So I believe that it is the case that you can escape a fiction, but it has to be you who does it. You have to reach deep down into your mind and find the inconsistencies. You must tell the truth. When presented with something that fits into your preconceived ideas of what reality is, instead of asking if you can believe it, ask yourself if you must believe it. Demand overwhelming evidence for anecdotes that confirm your biases. There's an amazing lesson to be learned from Mal's character. Don't be the person that allows others and other groups to plant ideas in your head. Don't lock away the truth for the convenience of a dreamlike reality, opening the door for a lie to take its place. Think about how sad it would be for you to be mindlessly controlled by an idea that wasn't even yours to begin with, and to be so possessed by that idea that you can't even find your way back to reality. There's nothing easy about knowing what is true. It takes a lot of hard work, and many people refuse to put in that work. They want their view of reality to be simple and easy. And maybe that works in dreams, but unfortunately it doesn't work in the real world. If you want to have a grasp on reality, you must carry the truth with you. You must hold tight to your totem, you must never let anyone else tamper with it, and you must never lock it away. And if you found yourself in a fantasy and you're unsure of how to get back to the truth, well, my guess is you have to dig deep within your own mind and find that truth that you buried away. The only way back to reality is to tell the truth. Let's just hope we're able to find our way back before the dream collapses.